Welcome to your House chamber. To all the members of the community in the gallery and out in the lobby and out in the viewing public on different forms of media. Again, welcome to your House of Representatives. I now call this first special session to order. Please let us all rise for a moment of silent prayer. Thank you, everyone. I now recognize the clerk to please call the roll.
Representative Adat. Representative Aldon.
Present.
Representative Athol.
Present.
Representative Benavente. Representative Angelo Camozzo.
Present.
Representative Diego Camozzo.
Present.
Representative Joel Camozzo.
Present.
Representative Vicente Camozzo.
Present.
Representative Castro.
Geica.
Representative Joseph Flores.
Present.
Representative Marissa Flores.
Present.
Representative Manglonia.
Present.
Representative Vogel.
Geiga.
Representative Omar. Representative Probst.
Present.
Representative Sablan.
Mr.
Representative Nicolas.
Present.
Mr. Speaker.
Hello.
Representative Yangtamay.
Nangiya.
Representative Yumo.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 19 members are present and 1 member is absent.
Thank you, Clerk. With 19 members present, that constitutes a quorum to move forward with today's session. Please note that Representative Malcolm Omar is hereby excused for today's session. And before we move forward to public comments, I like to recognize the floor leader for the motion to suspend rules to amend the agenda for today. There are bills and communications and other documents that did not make the 72 hours. So, floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to suspend Rule 3, Section 6, so that the House amends its agenda to include unnumbered bills and resolutions, standing committee reports, and communications not filed with the clerk's office 72 hours in advance when a notice for session was given and posted. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Adat. Representative Aldon.
Yes.
Representative Athol.
Yes.
Representative Benavente.
Yes.
Representative Angelo Camozzo.
Yes.
Representative Diego Camozzo. Representative Joel Camozzo.
Ungan.
Representative Vicente Camozzo.
Yes.
Representative Castro.
Ungan.
Representative Joseph Flores.
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores.
Yes.
Representative Manglonia.
Yes.
Representative Vogel.
Yes.
Representative Probst.
Yes.
Representative Sablan.
Ungan.
Representative Nicolas.
Yes.
Representative Yangtamay.
Aware.
Representative Yumo. Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 19 members voting yes, the motion hereby carries. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 2, public comments, and the floor is open. Please state your name and the entity that you represent, and you'll be given 3 minutes for your public comments. And if more time is needed, please allow other members of our community to give their comments, and we'll accommodate additional comments if necessary. Floor is open.
Good afternoon, members of Congress. I'm here seeking Congress for our utmost consideration for allocating the appropriation funds for the Mutual Council for Native Chamorro Advancement. We have accomplished outreach onto public institutions and government entities, including at a federal level, recognizing the island's indigenous Pacific heritage. And at public schools, including other organizations utilizing grants, utilizing heritage and preservation, such as 500 Shell. I ask Congress to continue your support of our outreach effort in perpetuating our intellectual properties upon celestial citations and biological events of our indigenous nature and as inhabitants of the Northern Manus Island. I ask members of Congress to consider the Mutual Council for the Chamorro Advancement to facilitate our goals and objectives for our indigenous community. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir, may you please state your name just for the record?
I am Herman Tudela.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tudela. Floor is open um, for public comments, and may I please ask that we keep it to what's on the agenda. I was just trying to see if, that communication from the Matua Council, and it's, I think that's more on the delegation level. So please try to keep your comments based on the today's agenda. But your comments are noted, Mr. Tudela.
Good afternoon to these members of this body. My name is Mr. Edwin Raymond Boakirwa. I believe I have a merit to present this question today, which has to do with something I brought out to the public, where the Indigenous Affairs Office stood its grounds to even say that the matter that I bring forth today is a legislative matter. Since you 19 members of this body is present, I asked this question, which I've been asking on social media, because I'm applied to find an answer, because I do not agree what the United States of America is saying. So I ask each and every one of you today, who does that more represent in this island? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kitugwa. Floor is still open for public comments. Thank you. With nothing further under public comments, we move down to item number 3, the adoption of journals, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 3, adoption of journals, we have one item, 6-day first regular session journal dated March 17, 2023.
Thank you, clerk. I now recognize the floor leader for the motion to adopt journals. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of journals for the six-day first regular session journal dated March 17, 2023. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to accept the journal. 6-day first regular session dated March 17, 2023, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, members, all in favor to adopt the journal, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. The journal is hereby adopted. Thank you, members. We now move down to item number 4. And I recognize Representative Marissa Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd like to introduce House Bill 23-42 to amend procedures for a preliminary hearing in a criminal case, signed by myself and is open, and I invite members of this body to support the bill if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Marissa Flores. House Bill 23-42 will be referred to your committee on JGO. I now recognize Representative Manny Castro. Would you like a quick recess, sir?
Yes, request for a recess, please,
Okay,
Speaker.
short recess. Before we went to recess, Representative Manny Castro had the floor for introduction of bills. Representative Manny Castro, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I totally forgot that I pre-filed this bill yesterday. I didn't expect to file it today, but I would, since we're at this time, I would like to introduce House Bill 23-43 to amend Title II, Division 3, Chapter 4, Section 34169C of the Commonwealth Code to enable the mayors of each municipality to enforce provisions of the Litter Control Act of 1989 as amended and for other purposes. This bill is introduced by myself, and I welcome anyone else to um, join me in moving it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Manny Costru. House Bill 23-43 will be referred to the Committee on NR, Natural Resources. Any other unnumbered bills? Recognize Representative Marissa Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd like to offer an unnumbered bill, a bill for an act to improve criminal investigations by the public auditor of fraud, waste, and abuse in the collection and expenditure of public funds and cooperation with the Attorney General. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is signed by myself and several others. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Marissa Flores. Your unnumbered bill will be numbered at a later time, and the official referral will be communicated at a later time. Any other member with unnumbered House bill to introduce? Ready? Ready. All right. Thank you, members. We now move down to House local bills, and I recognize Representative Patrick San Nicolas.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is in light to the from the legal advice from the our council. Um, it's been there's been missteps and misunderstanding between the Sinamay Treasury and the Office of the Governor. So, with the blessing of the legal counsel's advice, uh, I am withdrawing this uh, House local bill for introduction today. If there's no objection, thank you.
Thank you, Representative San Nicolas, and it is so noted. House Local Bill 23-10 is hereby withdrawn. Any other unnumbered House Local Bill to be introduced today? Are we ready? Thank you, colleagues. Nothing under House initiatives. Item number 5, introduction of resolutions. Any unnumbered resolutions to be introduced today? Ready? Ready? All right. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 6, messages from the governor, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 6, messages from the governor, we have a total of 6 communications from the governor. Governor's Communication 23-18 to 23-23. Governor's Communication 23-22 and 23-23 has been added by the House.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under governor's messages from the governor? Representative Marissa Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank Governor Palacios for passing into law 23-1, which reduces the civil judgment rate from 9% to 3%. As we know, for a very long time, this bill has been presented and kind of just was left to take its place in someone's desk or to collect dust. And I think at this time it's appropriate, considering the climate in which we are now headed into, moving forward with what's been going on with the budget and everything else. So I'd like to thank Governor Palacios for signing this into law. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Marissa Flores. The floor is still open for discussion under governor's communications. Recognize Representative John Paul Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I do also under Governor's Communication 23-20 and Governor Communication 23-21. I want to take this opportunity to thank the governor for signing into law House Bill number 23-6, which became Public Law 23-2, and also for House Bill 23-10, which became Public Law 23-3. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative John Paul Sablan. Floor is still open for discussions under messages from the governor. We ready? All right, thank you, colleagues. Governor's Communication 23-18 will be referred to the Committee on PUTC. The deadline for us to act on this nomination is by July 3rd. So PUTC, please take the time, but not too much time, to review the governor's nomination. Thank you. For a governor's communication 23-22, informing the House that he vetoed in parts House Local Bill 23-6, draft 1. We will leave that on the agenda for the next session for action. Governor's Communication 23-23, again, this will be referred to the House Committee on PUTC. This is the accompanying document to the governor's nomination. So again, deadline is still the same. Thank you. We'll now move down to item number 7, Senate Communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 7, Senate Communications, we just have one item, Senate Communication 23-11.
Thank you, clerk. And before I recognize the floor leader for the motion, I just want to make a clarification just in case there's no confusion, but for parliamentary purposes, we shall accept this communication coming from the Senate and we will move it to the calendar, and from there we will act on the calendar. Okay, so just so there's no confusion out there. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House accept Senate Communication 23-11 so that it becomes a property of the House. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to accept Senate Communication 23-11, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, thank you, colleagues. All in favor to accept Senate Communications, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Senate Communications hereby accepted. I will be placing Senate Communication 23-11, which is returning House Bill 23-31, House Substitute 1, in the form of Senate Substitute 2 to be placed on today's calendar for action. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 8, House Communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 8, House Communications, we have 3 communications. House Communications 23-33 through 23-35.
Thank you, clerk. Any comments under House Communications or discussions? Ready? Okay, thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 10, communications from departments and agencies. We have none. Item number 11, miscellaneous communications, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 11, miscellaneous communications, we have 5 communications. House Miscellaneous Communication 23-21 through 23-25.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under miscellaneous communications? Ready? All right, thank you, colleagues. Miscellaneous communications 23-21, 23-22, and 23-23 will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means for reference. And miscellaneous communications 23-24 will be referred to also the Ways and Means and Health and Welfare for reference. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 12, reports of standing committees, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 12, reports of standing committees, we have a total of 7 committee reports. Standing committee reports. Standing Committee Report 23-9 through 23-15. 23-9 and 10 is ready for House action.
Thank you, clerk. I'd like to call for a quick recess. Before we went on recess, we were under the reports of standing committee. The clerk has informed us of the standing committee reports that are ready for action and those that will be staying on the agenda because it did not meet the 72 hours. So we will act on them on the next session. So with the two committee reports that are ready, which is Standing Committee Report 23-9 and 23-10, I recognize the floor leader. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the Standing Committee Report number 23-9 to be recommitted to the House of, the Standing Committee of Ways and Means. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. Motion has been made to recommit Standing Committee Report 23-9 back to the Ways and Means Committee, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All right. All in favor for the motion made by the floor leader to recommit Standing Committee Report 23-9, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 23-10, reporting on House Local Bill number 23-9 entitled to appropriate unobligated funds under Saipan Local Law 23-1 and for other purposes. Your House Committee on Ways and Means recommends that House Local Bill number 23-9 be transmitted to the Saipan and Northern Islands Legislative Delegation for its action. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to adopt Standing Committee Report 23-10, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay. All in favor to adopt Standing Committee Report 23-10, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Standing Committee Report 23-10 is hereby adopted. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 13, reports of special and conference committees. We have none. Item number 14, unfinished business. We have none. We now move down to item number 15, the resolution calendar. Somebody? Okay. I apologize for that. The resolution calendar, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of House Resolution 23-6, HD1, a House resolution to amend the House of Representatives Rules of Procedure that was adopted on January 9th, 2023, and for other purposes. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made to adopt House Resolution 23-6, House Draft 1, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Ada,
Yes.
Representative Aldan,
Yes.
Representative Atal,
Yes.
Representative Benavente,
Again.
Representative Angelo Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Diego Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Joel Camacho,
Again.
Representative Vicente Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Castro, Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Manglonia,
Yes.
Representative Vogel,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Again.
Representative Nicolas, Representative Yang Tamay,
Oh, well.
Representative Yumo, Representative Castro.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, House Resolution number 23-6, HD1 is hereby adopted. Thank you, colleagues. We have
Mr.
nothing
Speaker,
further.
Can we request for a short recess, please?
Okay, short recess. Rise back to session. Before we went on recess, we just got done with item number 15, resolution calendar, where we adopted House Resolution number 23-6 HD1. We'll now move down to item number 16, the bill calendar. And
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to reject House Bill 23-31, House Substitute 1, Senate Substitute 2, a bill for an act to repeal and reenact Public Law 22-22 in order to make revised appropriations for the operations and activities of the government of the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, its agencies, instrumentalities, and independent programs, and to provide revised budget authority for government corporations for the fiscal year 2023 and for other purposes, and move this to conference. So moved.
thank you, Floor Leader. A motion has been made by the Floor Leader to reject House Bill 23-31, House Substitute 1, Senate Substitute 2, and to move to conference, and it has been seconded. Any discussions under the motion? Yeah. Recognize
Thank you,
Representative Atal.
thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Florida, for making the motion that we reject House Bill 23-31 HS1 SS2. And the reason for the rejection on this legislation or the motion is because first and foremost, when the submission, the budget was submitted to the legislative branch and the House acted on it on a pretty short notice, as the anticipated date that was given to this body was an April 1st deadline to pass this budget. Unfortunately, we didn't meet the deadline. The governor's come out already that the effective date of the austerity shall begin on April 24th. The changes that were made when the revised budget was submitted to the legislature was removing the ARPA, as everybody knows, right? And we removed ARPA, and on top of that, there was also an increase in the anticipated collection. In the first quarter, there's a 14% increase. In the first 2 months of the second quarter, there's an additional 14% increase in collections. The submission, though, from the administration was pretty conservative. They left it at 11% for the rest of the fiscal year. And in that proposal, $780,000 was removed from the Saipan mayor's office, which was very concerning to the members, but we understand the financial situation. So we actually reached out also to the mayor's office, and we also know that they get tribunal funds, which is ARPA that goes directly to counties and municipalities of the United States and its territories. So we were good with that. We passed our version. When it got to the Senate had found out that the islands of Rhode and Tinian's Department of Fire and Department of Public Safety were not included in the 100%. So that they can serve their people at 100%. So those numbers were changed, and we have no issues with that. The people of Rhode and Tinian deserve to get their services up, for DPS and fire. In addition to that, the Senate also had requested that they'd also include the Rhode and Tinian liaison offices here on Saipan, and that's a priority. They're out here for medical care, so they should have access to take their patients to the hospital and back to where they need to be. The other additions were added by the Senate was an additional $225,000 to both the first and second senatorial district. And this has nothing to do against the first and second senatorial district. We have already understood that we're making these cuts within the third senatorial district to address everybody else's needs. And the position of the House would be to reject this version because we want to also understand why they needed these additional funds on top of what was already given when the cut from the Saipan mayor's office of $780,000 was to get the first and second senatorial district to 72 hours, just like the third senatorial district. And with that being said, I think that it's very important that we get into a conference committee so we can understand the position of the Senate as to why they added the additional funds to the first and second senatorial district. The thing that we do understand is the first senatorial district, the third senatorial district, including Saipan and the Northern Islands, is we know the exact amount of the tribunal funds that have been transmitted by the U.S. Department of Treasury. Unfortunately, we don't have the accurate numbers for the second senatorial district because there's an understanding that the funds were supposed to go from the U.S. Department of Treasury directly to the Tinian Municipal Treasury. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I support the motion of rejecting this version that has been submitted by the Senate, and I respect our colleagues from the first and second senatorial district if they do not agree with rejecting this version. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Representative Atta. The floor is still open for discussion. Recognize Representative Julie Ogle.
Thank you, Speaker. So I understand that, with the short notice on the rejections of the budget for Rhoda, specifically from my precinct, and that $225 could come a long way, but I really hope that, the House or the Senate, when it comes to, finalizing the budget, that they, reconsider putting more funds into back to our island, my precinct. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Julie Ogle. I recognize Representative Patrick San Nicolas.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really appreciate Rep. Atto's sentiment on this, but looking at the Senate version, there's an additional funding for the second senatorial district, and I hope that everyone understands that additional fundings for our district is always appreciated. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I am rendering a no vote for rejection. Thank you, and I yield.
So noted, Representative San Nicolas. Any more under discussions? Ready? Ready? Okay. Thank you, colleagues. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Abbott?
Yes.
Representative Aldan?
Yes.
Representative Attal?
Yes.
Representative Beneventi?
Yes.
Representative Angelo Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu? Representative Senti Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Castro?
Yes.
Representative Joseph Flores?
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Maglonia?
Yes.
Representative Vogel? No. Representative Probst?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Again.
Representative Nicolas?
No.
Representative Yanktamay?
However.
Representative Yumo?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 17 members voted yes and 2 members voted no.
Thank you, Clerk. With 17 members voting yes, House Bill number 23-31, House Substitute 1, Senate Substitute 2 is hereby rejected and will go into conference. Thank you, colleagues. I will now announce the appointment of the conferees for this House bill. It'll be as follows. The chair will be the chairman of Ways and Means, who is Representative Ralph Umel. And the other conferees are Representatives B.J. Attal and Representative J.P. Sablan. And our alternate will be Representative Marissa Flores. Okay, thank you, colleagues. With nothing further under item number 16, bill calendar, we now move down to item number 17, miscellaneous communications, and the floor is open for miscellaneous communications. Recognize Representative Manny Castro.
Speaker and colleagues, this is as we move into conference committee, I would like to ask that the members involved in the House and also our colleagues in the Senate, if they can really consider support for the substance abuse and recovery program. Given the economic times and hardships, it's really important that we help with the prevention of drug use and also help those families that are currently in the program. Having been to the site today, it really does need assistance. There's a lot of potential And at the current, the Senate version that was provided, this 100,000 was slashed. And there's some agencies that I've seen firsthand that are, they have the FTEs, but there's really no activity. We really need to look at all the departments and make sure that, because I don't understand if drug use and drug prevention is really important. um, I don't see the equitable support going there. So I hope that we really look into the issue, because it's going to be a big issue in the coming months given the financial situation. And I know our precinct is going to be directly affected, and it's going to spread out to the other precincts if we don't take care of this issue.
Thank you, Representative Manny Castro. The floor is still open under miscellaneous. Recognize Representative Vincent Odan.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. And I would just like to update everybody, with the meeting that we had yesterday with CUC together with the Attorney General. One of the recommendations that was brought forth by our committee members was to create an ad hoc team, a committee, to discuss and find ways to revise Public Law 447, Public Law 16-17 to ensure that the way CUC is designed is not being run properly. And we found that out through our extensive months of investigation. And given the light that, every single individual in the whole entire CNMI is being affected by the rates. And we want, everybody in the committee, if it's going to be open, nothing's going to be hidden. We want everybody to participate, and everything that we find, it's open to everybody. And we like the public to understand that we are working in this with this issue in light of everybody knows the economic conditions that we're in. So we're going to move forward and create a ad hoc committee to try to resolve this issue. And we would like to make sure that everybody is well informed and that we are open to, any comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Vincent Odan. Floor is still open. Recognize Representative Yanktamai.
I too want to update everyone here about the APIL that I attended over the Holy Week. I nominated our speaker to be the brand new APIL vice president. So the General Assembly will be in Chuk. It's tentatively scheduled for the third week of October, and it will be great if we all go, since we have our vice president here, brand new, to be sitting, and we all dance around him and all that. And then we have this NCLS also. This one will be in Indianapolis, Indiana, in August. I think I sent some of you the letter, the email. I don't have everyone's email address, so it will be great for you and your staff to go. It will broaden your minds. You get to meet a lot of you get to network with others. And then we also have this Precinct 3 is doing Friends of the Oliai Falugula basketball court thingy. And we are going to renovate the basketball court. So if you are interested, please come and join us. It's going to be on April 22nd. We're going to get a lot of materials from somewhere. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Yanktamai. Recognize Representative Marissa Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a reminder, tomorrow's the Youth Congress organizational session, and that's at 10 o'clock. Also, in light of Autism Awareness Month, there is a Autism Family Fun Day at 4 p.m. at the Micro Beach Field. So I encourage everybody in support and raise awareness as we have members of our family, friends, and associates who have been diagnosed with autism in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Marissa Flores. Floor is still open under miscellaneous. Ready? Ready? Okay, we move down to item number 18, announcements. Ready? All right. Recognize Representative Julie Ogle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So Rhoda is having its fifth annual Rhoda's Gilita Chamorro Festival on April 29. So if any one of you, or maybe you can move down a session to Rhoda, please join us. And we'll show you how the real Chamorro food is cooked and and show you how to throw the sling and spear throwing. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Julie Ogle. April 29th. Yeah. Recognize Representative Roy Adda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also like to announce that DCCA Youth Services is having their motorcade and waving today at down at AK for Child Abuse Month. And also, Savicente School Family Fun Day is tomorrow from 9 to 1 p.m. If my colleagues in Precinct 1 and everybody else is welcome to support this event at the school. And then we also have the Savicente Fiesta that will be taking place on Sunday, 9 a.m. novena and 10 a.m. mass, and followed by a session after that. All right. So I appreciate everybody who donated for the fiesta too upcoming. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Representative Roy Adda. Looks like the economy is going to be booming in Precinct 1 this weekend. Floor is still open under announcements. Recognize Representative Ralph Yu.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And don't forget Youth Congress inauguration tomorrow at 10 a.m.
Thank you, Representative Yumo. There's also the Sexual Assault Awareness Month Jamboree. I think it starts at 11 at the Capitol Hill baseball field until 4 p.m., 4 or 5 p.m. That's tomorrow. Yeah. All right. Any more under announcements? We're ready? Okay, I now recognize the floor adjournment.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Subject to the call of the Speaker, I move for adjournment.
Thank you, Mr. Floor Leader. The floor leader has made a motion for adjournment and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Okay, all in favor to adjourn the session, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Session's hereby adjourned. Thank you, colleagues.